That is a real run. The agent read Flask's actual source on disk and answered with the files and the line numbers. 7 tool calls, then the explanation. And the whole thing is about 30 lines of Python. By the end of this video, you will have typed every one of them yourself. So open an editor and follow along. You've just cloned Flask, 20,000 lines of Python across 24 files, and you need one answer. How does a decorator on a function actually turn into a live URL? You could spend an afternoon reading source. Or you could point an agent at the real files and let it read them for you. That is exactly what we build in this video, together, one line at a time. A read-only repo agent in about 30 lines of Python that explores the real Flask source and explains how routing works. 4 steps. Set it up, send a first query, point it at Flask, then watch the loop run. Type along. Why reach for the Agent SDK at all? Because it is Claude Code's agent loop handed to you as a Python library. Without it, this is the shape of the work. Call the model, watch it, ask for a tool, run that tool yourself, feed the result back, and loop again, checking the stop reason every pass. Every line in that loop is yours to write and maintain. With the Agent SDK, that entire loop collapses. You pass a prompt and iterate the messages as the agent works, reading, searching, answering, with the tool loop handled for you. There is also a hosted managed agents option that runs on Anthropic's own infrastructure. This course is about the library you run yourself. Step A, setup. You need Python 3.10 or newer and an Anthropic account. One naming trap first. The package was renamed. The old Claude Code SDK is now Claude Agent SDK, and the old options class is now Claude Agent Options. Then create one file for the agent, and we start typing. Install is a single line pip install Claude Agent SDK. Then prove it imports before writing anything real. Import Claude Agent SDK from a one-line command, and if it returns quietly, you are ready. No error means the package and its runtime are in place. Authentication comes from your environment. Never hard-coded. Run Claude Setup Token. Once, it prints an OAuth token that the agent reads from an environment variable when it starts. Treat that token like a password. It is masked here on purpose, and it should never be shown on screen or committed to a repo. Step B, the first query. The entry point is one function, query. You give it a prompt, and it hands back an async iterator, a stream of messages you loop over as the agent thinks, calls tools, and finally answers. Before we run it, 15 seconds on the async part, since it trips up a lot of Python developers. Here's the smallest program that works. Import query, define an async main, and loop over the messages that query streams back. We keep a try except around it from the very start. A single shot query raises after an error result, and we want to see that, not swallow it. Print the final result, and run it. All you need to know about async here is 3 things. Async 4 pulls each message the moment it is ready, instead of waiting for a whole list. Await pauses your function until the next value arrives, without blocking everything else, and asyncio.run starts the event loop that drives it. That is the whole prerequisite. Run it. The agent connects, answers the trivial prompt, and the result prints. That is the real reply from a real run. It is a throwaway answer, but the plumbing is proven. Your program can drive the agent loop end to end. Now let us give it a real job. Step C, point it at Flask. We add an options object, Claude Agent Options. The system prompt gives the agent its mission. You are a repo agent. Explain how the codebase works. Read only. We restrict its tools to read, grep, and glob. No writing. And we set its working directory to the Flask source we cloned. Then the question itself. How does the route decorator turn into a URL that calls your view function? We pass it to the same query call, now with our options attached. Options on top, the query loop underneath. That is a complete read-only repo agent pointed at real Flask. Run it. The agent searches the source for route, finds it in the scaffold file, follows the call into the app file, and reads how each route registers a rule on the URL map, then answers, citing the real files and line numbers. This is the actual output from that run, trimmed to fit the screen. Step D, watch the loop. The part everything hangs on. When you call query, the agent does not answer in one shot. It takes a turn, decides it needs a tool, calls it, reads the result, and takes another turn, over and over, until it has an answer. Watching that happen is the whole reason to prefer video over docs. Drawn out, the whole loop looks like this. A prompt goes in, your question, and the agent takes its first turn. Needing information, it issues a tool call, a read, a grep, a glob. The tool runs and hands back a result, which the agent reads in. That result feeds the next turn, and the cycle repeats, turn, tool, result, again and again. Until, at last, out comes the answer. Every arrow here is one typed message moving through your loop. Now make the loop visible. We grow the same file, import assistant message and tool use block, and inside the loop, when a message is an assistant turn, we walk its content blocks. Each term's content is a list of blocks, and a tool use block is the agent reaching for a tool. And this is the one line that surfaces it. Print using tool, then the tool's name. That single print is the tool call arrow from our diagram, made visible. It turns the hidden loop into a live log you can read as the agent works. Run it one last time. Now each tool call prints as it fires, using tool grep, using tool read, and then the cited answer lands, naming the real files and the real lines. Notice the first thing it tried was bash. The allow list refused it, and the agent fell back to the read-only tools we gave it. Permissions get a full chapter in Part 2. 3 takeaways from the architect's lens. 1. The Agent SDK is Claude code as a library. You embed the loop. You don't rebuild it. 2. Everything the agent does arrives as a typed message with typed content blocks, your window into the loop. 3. Start read only and let the agent earn write access later. That is, Part 1, built and run. If this is the course you wished existed, subscribe. We grow the same agent next.